Welcome back. We will now turn our attention to softball, where we are joined by an in-house guest, Tim McNamara, the Conference USA softball insider. Thank you for joining us.
Not a problem.
We're going to start off by talking about our preseason recognitions, starting with our Player of the Year, who's a familiar name at Conference USA, Caitlin Atfield.
It's UAB's Caitlin Atfield. She's receiving the honor a second year in a row. Now, there's a good reason for that. She's batted above .450 the last 2 years. She actually, fun fact, has 3 of the top 5 batting averages for single-season Blazer history. Anyone familiar with softball knows exactly how good UAB's been, historically speaking. Coach Marla Townsend brings in an entire team to surround her with, pitching staff. Once again, they'll be the full boat, and they'll be a tough out in the conference tournament.
And now our preseason poll also came out with Florida Atlantic coming out as the preseason favorite. Now, why do you think they're voted so high?
Florida Atlantic's a no-brainer for this one. Obviously, they have the pitching staff that I thought was the best one last year. You always hear about WKU. They had the one pitcher. Florida Atlantic had a full team of them. That's led by Pitcher of the Year Kylie Hansen. She went 18-5 last year with a blistering 1.56 ERA that included 6 shutouts. Now, even though her work was overshadowed by the young lady up in Bowling Green, her season was still outstanding and worthy of the CUSA Preseason Pitcher of the Year tag.
Now, also, not only are teams excelling here, but also at the national level, they're gaining recognition.
Yes, Marshall, UAB, and WKU all received votes, nationally speaking. Now, we touched on Florida Atlantic. Let's touch on Marshall. As we discussed the Herd, especially in recent years, they have been an offensive tear in this league. Their offense, their speed, their entire formula is a nightmare to defend. Coach Staten has some fun toys to play with as well. We obviously know about Morgan Zirkle. We'll touch more on her in a bit. But I'd like to talk more about the sophomore, Elisa Dorazio. Last year, freshman year, goes down as one of the greatest freshman campaigns in not only Marshall history, but Conference USA history. She was obviously the CUSA Freshman of the Year, and trust me, the voting wasn't close on that. But she was also a first-team All-Conference, All-Freshman, and an NFCA All-Region selection. That's a high honor, especially for a freshman. She finished the season batting .354 with 57 hits, and do not worry, she stole 24 bases for the Herd.
And as you said, WKU is also receiving votes in the poll, but they rank 8th in our coaches' preseason poll. So what do you think about that, I guess?
WKU obviously last year had one of the best years in Conference USA history. That is why they receive votes nationally. Now, our coaches do the voting for the poll here, and the coaches know something about WKU. They lost their ace, Miranda Kramer. Now, that's not to take a knock on Coach Amy Tudor, who did a magnificent job last year, but her work's cut out for her this year, which is why they were picked 8th. So who will be anchoring WKU this season on the pitching staff? Well, the answer is sophomore Hannah Parker, who got to watch Miranda last year and now kind of knows what it takes, if you will, to anchor it. Now, she has 2 freshmen behind her on the rotation, and it'll take some mix and match for Coach Amy Tudor to figure out exactly how her rotation will work for the Lady Toppers. Outside of the pitching, the Lady Toppers bring back some other pieces, notably a pair of sophomores that had excellent freshman years that culminated in even better tournament appearances. I'm looking at the tournament hero, Carly Shomo, as well as Catherine Downing.
Now, not only are some of our teams gaining national recognition, but players individually as well.
Yes, ma'am. Morgan Zirkle with Marshall and Florida Atlantic's Kylie Hansen were both named to the 2016 USA Collegiate Player of the Year watch list. That's 50 players deep in the entire country. More on Zirkle. As her coach put it, it's no longer a secret how elite this young student athlete is. Last season, she hit .506 with 89 hits and won the Golden Shoe Award for the most stolen bases in the nation with 47.
Now, in just being around the league and seeing all these teams play, which team do you think will excel from last year's performance and just kind of use that momentum?
I like UTSA. Coach Michelle Chetham's crew hit a lot of home runs. They play a simple style of ball, but it's effective. They're bringing back 9 sophomores as juniors last year, all letter winners. They run a nice pitching rotation. They constantly come at you. They have Kendall Burton coming back. She's a preseason all-conference selection, a freshman last year. Now a sophomore. She had a team-leading 69 hits, 7 of which were triples, which was 8th in the nation last year. She was also responsible for a 2-run bomb that helped them win in the first round over Louisiana Tech. So I think UTSA will be a dangerous program this season, especially with all eyes on UAB and Florida Atlantic.
Now, lastly, which team do you think is kind of flying under the radar but will come up and surprise us?
When I think of sleepers, I think of Charlotte, and here's why. Last 2 years, Conference USA tournament, they've rolled in as the 8th seed. Not easy. That means they get the 1 seed. So 2 years ago, they got Amy Krieger at Tulsa, set every pitching record in the book here. Last year, they get Kramer, who broke all of Krieger's records. Not fun. Now, in those games, they lost 1-0 each time. They had their own ace pitcher in Lexi Betancourt. Over her past 3 years at Charlotte, she's accumulated 52 wins, 563 strikeouts with a 2.56 ERA. That's in 112 appearances in 3 seasons. She is a bona fide ace pitcher for Charlotte. Furthermore, veteran skipper Amy DeVos, who's coming back for season number 22, will lead her squad to 39 games in the Carolinas this year. A very favorable schedule for Charlotte. So I like kind of how they've established their team, how they have the ace pitcher. I like that they have the hitting to surround it. They have good, solid infield anchors. The question remains, will it be enough offensive support around Lexi Betancourt come tournament time?